Hi everybody, it's Claire and welcome to a little bit of a shortish tutorial. It's going to be on this beautiful page that you can see here. A lot of you have asked me since I've posted it on social media recently if you could have a tutorial on the deep red roses, so that's what we're going to be doing today. I don't think it'll take us more than 20 minutes or so. So you can see this beautiful piece. It's by an artist called Cammie Azbill Ledbetter. She is on Etsy as WhimsyWayArt. And this particular download, this PDF download from Etsy, is called Flutterbye's Mama. And as you can see, it's a really, really beautiful design. Cammie specialises in grayscale and kind of large-scale face portraits and designs like this if you're interested in going and having a look. Okay, so let me just move that out the way. And I'll move this finished piece out the way. So this is the shop that I've just mentioned, the Etsy shop. Just put my pencils down. If you key it in like that, WhimsyWayArt, capital letters where you see them, and no spaces, you'll get Cammie's artwork on Etsy. Okay, and what you get is, you get one copy of like a light grey image, which is what we're going to be working on today. And then you get a darker image. So if you're planning to kind of white out your lines, you can use this lighter image. And then you've got the darker one if you just want to colour it as normal, I guess. Okay. So, at this point, I'm going to get this into the right position because we're going to be doing this rose here today. This one. So I'm just going to double check that it's a decent angle for you. I think that's okay. Maybe zoom you in a little bit. Okay, let's hope that's okay. We're working here. All right, now the only thing I've got in my hand today is 7 Prismacolor pencils. Don't worry about writing them down. I'll put them in the description as usual. The first one is black, which is PC 935. Then I have black raspberry, which is 1095. I have Tuscan red, which is 937. It's a bit of a shorty, but it doesn't matter. Then I have raspberry, which is 1030. I have Crimson Lake 925. This is going from light to dark to light, clearly. Then I have Scarlet Lake, which is 923. And for my highlights, I have Poppy Red. Okay, so for those of you who've seen the Dahlia tutorial that I posted quite a few months ago now, I think, it's a pretty similar palette, except I've pulled out Poppy for a highlight. Okay? And bear with me. I'm just going to take a drink every now and again because I've not been too well. So just bear with me, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. So I'm going to start with black, okay? Now, you can see, treat this as grayscale. It is grayscale. So can you see where Cammie has shaded areas of the beautiful rose petals? That's where we're going to put our deepest shadow. And if you've seen my last tutorial, which was the Whirlpool by Kirby Rosanes, we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to lay down the black where the grayscale indicates, and then we're going to follow the map. Okay, we're going to follow the map with the rest of our red colours. So let's get started. And I'm just going to blend the same way that I normally do with my Prismacolors. So I'm going to put myself a little blend line in light touch, and then firmer behind. We're not going to be layering. It'll be burnish blending. Okay, so I'm just looking for the grey areas that Cammie's laid down on her sketch. Okay, and that's where I'm putting the black. And that will be our roadmap for the rest of the colours, and it's that easy. But because you're using such a variety of light and dark colours, you're really going to create yourself. The magic trick to this is the shadow and the light. So by using a palette of 7 colours just for one red rose, you're really going to create yourself some beautiful shadows and some beautiful light. And that's the trick with this, to make it look dark and velvety. So I might not be speaking as much today, as I say, because I'm struggling a little bit, but you can see what I'm doing. And it's kind of natural, I guess, because the deepest shadows would be in the deepest kind of recesses of the petals, which is where Cammie has put that grey shading for us to follow. It's almost like painting by numbers without the numbers. It's painting by grayscale, colouring by grayscale. And there's not an awful lot of grey on these, I have to say. I've seen a lot of grayscale colouring where there's a lot more shadow and shade already laid down, which is why I quite like this, because sometimes I've found that if there's too much grey laid down, you can't put your colours nicely over the top of it, but this works really well. So because this is our map, I'm just being careful, because this is what we will follow for the rest of the rows. And usually with this bin of printout, I'd be moving it around a little bit, but I'm going to try and not move it around and get it out of shot. I'll try and kind of work my wrist around it. Light touch blend line, firmer behind. Where else? Up here, I think. Can you see anywhere else where we need to put it? Let's fill that little bit in there. Oh, I think we need something down here. There's a little bit of grey there. Yes, I think we'll put a little bit in there. Okay, so I'm being careful not to cover up that blend line. Okay. I think I might put a little bit in of my own. Kind of here, I think. Like I say, just think about where the deepest recesses of the rose petals would be, and that's where the least light would penetrate. So that's where you want your darker colours for your shadow. And we'll pick up speed after this because we've already got our map, and then we're just a case of following it. I put a little bit there on this crease here, look. Take that up slightly. Maybe a tiny bit there, just underneath that fold. Okay, I'm going to put my black down now. So I'm going to go to my black raspberry, okay? Dead easy. Follow what you've laid down, okay? So I'm going to try and work, so I know that I've caught all of these little pieces. I'm going to try and work left to right. Blend line, light touch, firmer behind and over the blend line of the black. These are Prismacolor pencils. They will blend for you. And I should probably say that I've just got this printed out on just really standard white cardstock from Amazon. I printed it out on card. Clearly you don't have to print it out on card, but the only reason I did print it out on card was because I wanted to use the beautiful KJ design paints for the wings. Okay. So I knew that if I printed it out on card, the paints would take better rather than it just being on flimsy A4 paper. Okay, and just keep going. And I'm not putting a very thick band in here. Remember, I've got 7 pencils in my hand. So I'm literally just laying down a millimetre or two at the most. because I want to try and work in all of those colours. Just follow the shapes that you've laid down in that shadow. Where do I want to be? Here. Yes, so I think just here. I'll take some around this inside, and because the petals are tighter, think about a rose in your head and look at images online if that helps you. The rose petals are tighter in the middle, okay? So a lot of your darker colours will be in the middle of the flower because the petals are packed more tightly together, and therefore you will get more shade, you will get more shadow. So don't be afraid if you're putting a lot of your dark colours in the centre. That's what you want. So I'm just marking out in light touch where I'm going to put that black raspberry. Thank you for the feedback on it. It's been awesome. A lot of you have commented on the roses, hence the tutorial. Where are we? Here. Just be methodical as you go around and take your time. It's not a race. It's meant to be a mindful hobby. But the good thing about using the Prismacolor pencils this way and not layering to blend is the speed. If you're not a very patient colourist, this method of colouring and this way of blending is a lot faster than layering up, which is the technical art way to do it, is the layering up. But hey, these are your pages, these are your pencils. You use them exactly how you want, and don't let anybody tell you there's a wrong way and a right way, because there isn't. What are we going to? We're going to Tuscan Red, okay? And we're following our map. And you will, eventually, you'll fill up some petals without using all of your 7 colours, but that's all right, because you want a mix of petals where you've got deeper and lighter. Same thing. And I'm actually going to take this across this petal now because we've reached that height. Like that. And what I'm actually going to do, can you see this little crease here? I'm actually going to put a little bit of Tuscan Red there. And then as we get to the lighter colours, you'll see that that crease is illustrated quite well. And I know this looks a bit cack-handed, but as I say, I don't want to move the image for you on the video. I'd usually be moving the paper around to suit my wrist. But because we're zoomed in, I don't want to do that, because there's a chance you would be off screen. And my husband is just out walking the dogs at the moment, Hope and Freckle. And I'm betting they come in halfway through this tutorial and you hear a massive clatter in the background. Oh, there you go. There's the back door closing. I think I must be psychic. Can you see that colour starting to build up? Okay, keep to your principle, Holoway. Let's go, let's keep with the left to right so you know what you've done. There we go. A little bit there, I think. Can you see I'm only laying down a millimetre or so at a time? Where else do I need to be? I need to be here, don't I? This one is getting a little bit too short for my hand to be comfortable, to be fair, but you can put pencil extenders on if you choose. And what I would say is as well, now I'm working left to right because I'm right-handed. So I'm keeping my hand away from that. If you're left-handed, I would say start from right to left. And then because you've got dark colours on the page, you're much less likely to smudge anything. I know it's kind of pencil, but you can, when it's deeper colours, you can smudge the pencil just to make a bit of a mess. So we've got a crease there. Can you see we've got a crease there? I'm just going to do the same as I did here. And I didn't start this crease with black because it's further out towards the petal. It's further out to the outside. So putting black there wouldn't work as well because, as I said before, our deepest ones are in the centre. But you still want a little bit of shade, so one of your mid-reds is better. Where else do we need to be? Where else have I been? Where else have I not been? Here. I haven't been here, look. And I'm just going to keep blowing rather than brushing away because, as I say, the deep pencil dust will make scarmy marks on your page if you do it with your fingers. I do actually have, I'll show you what I have actually, interestingly enough. I have a proper, and I don't use it to be fair, I have a proper Faber-Castell pencil dust brush, but I don't use it to be honest. So, where are we? What colour are we on? Did I do down here? Can you remember? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay, so we're going to go to raspberry. Raspberry, there we are. And you can see on this particular petal we'll not get through all of the colours. And I think because you've got 7 shades as well, your blending is easier because you're not going through a massive colour jump. Just around this little crease. Tell you what I might do. Let me grab. I've got a Bob Ross filbert here, and I'm just gonna gently brush that off. As soon as you take your eyes off it though, you forget where you were. And can you see this little bit here will finish off in this raspberry colour, because we'll not get to the lighter colours for this particular bit. And I think this petal here is facing towards the front, so it will be quite light. So given I've only got 4 pencils left, I'm going to put this raspberry in the bottom in the crease. And then that will start us off on our map for that bit there. So I'm wondering, because the light, can you see? I don't know if the light's reflecting off the pencil marks and the wax of the pencils, but can you see how that's coming together if I tilt the page so the light's not on it? Because I know that when I press it down, you can see the light reflecting off the pencil marks, which isn't great sometimes, but there's not a lot you can do about it. I've got a little dampening light off shot that you can't see to try and help with that, but it doesn't work 100%. And this petal here we'll finish off with the raspberry. So I'm just following the map of that black that I laid down originally. It's not rocket science. If it was, I wouldn't be here. Now, where do we need to be? Around here, I think. You see how that colour's building up quite nicely? I'll just grab my Bob Ross. And clearly you can see that there's some petals we haven't started yet, and I am going to start them off, I think, in the next colour, because I've got 3 pencils left in my hand. Husband must have still heard me talking to the video because it's very quiet outside this room. He must have taken the doggy doodles upstairs out of trouble. I haven't been out with them today. I'm not really well enough to go out yet at the minute. Okay, I think we're done with our raspberry and we're going to go to Crimson Lake. Finish this petal off in this colour. And this Crimson Lake is a gloriously rich red. And you can do this with your polychromos or oil-based pencils. You probably just need to pick a similar palette but just layer a little bit more rather than burnish blend like I'm doing here. You see how that's coming together? If I just keep tilting it for you out of the light, you can see that's starting to come together really nicely. Leave a tiny bit at the top of the two petals for the next colour. I think I'll do this little sliver here, just in a block colour of this. And there are decisions that you'll need to make for yourself on little things like that. Just decide which colour you want to put them in. But just remember, the further you come out, the lighter they'll be. I might do this one down here as well, look. Just be careful of the next rows along, because this petal here belongs to this big rose. Okay, where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Again, if I just tilt it, you can see those colours coming together really nicely. Okay, so we're going to go to our lightest but one. I'm just going to grab a quick drink. I'm going to go to our lightest but one, which is Scarlet Lake. Okay. And it's when you start putting these lightest highlight colours on that the magic really starts to happen. And like I say, I'm filling this petal up with this colour and I've still got one left in my hand. But it's all right because I've got bigger bits here that I'll get the very lightest poppy colour onto. Just roll with the design. Don't feel like you have to get all 7 colours on every single petal, because you don't, and in fact it's better if you don't. Finish this little petal off here. And this one. And then I think I am going to twist this round slightly for this very last bit, but I'm going to try and keep it so that you can still see it. Okay. Very awkward for my wrist if I didn't move it. I don't think we've done Crimson Lake on that bit, look. Just picked up my Crimson Lake again. It's because I'm talking and not paying attention, you see. Shows you how easy it is though to miss one or two. Just try to be methodical. Right, back to Scarlet Lake. I'm just being careful because the reason I'm turning the page at this point is because I'm just being accurate around these edges. And if my wrist's at a strange angle, uncomfortable angle, I'm going to go over those edges. And I don't want that. So we need this one. And this is the same exact thing I've done for every single rose on this page. So we've got one petal here that we haven't started on. So I'm just going to, because it's really thin, I've left it to my last 2 pencils. And again, think, you've got 2 pencils left in your hand, so the darker of the 2 I'm going to put towards the inside, okay? Okay, and this is the easiest bit. This is the easiest bit. I've got 1 pencil left in my hand, it's Poppy. Just going to make sure that's placed a little bit better for you. And all we have to do now is finish up. Not worried about blend lines now, just a firm touch into the rest of this beautiful rose. And I know some of you would like the design even further zoomed in, but it's quite difficult because my camera, you can't see how close my camera is, but it's really close. And if I get it any further into the page, because I'm using the rear camera, I can't zoom in, like manually, if you know what I mean. It doesn't leave an awful lot of room for my hand. But I'm sure if you've got smart TVs and you're on your iPhone or whatever, you can zoom in as well from your end. So can you see how that lightest highlight really makes that last bit come alive? Just going to finish these little bits off. Just went over that slightly. Excuse me. And we are done. And that is how to colour a deep rich red velvety rose. Easy. Okay, there you go. So can you see how we've used the, there we go, that's better. Can you see how we've used the light and the shade to create that beautiful velvet effect? Okay, as usual, any questions, drop me a line. All right, bye for now, guys.